Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss Science Grade 7, Chapter 2, Nutrition in Animals. This chapter we will discuss in two videos. The first one is about types of heterotrophic nutrition, what are different steps in nutrition, and we will discuss two case studies, nutrition in amoeba and nutrition in ruminants. First of all, we would like to understand what do you mean by nutrition. Actually, nutrition means the process of obtaining food and utilization by the body. So when we eat food, uh, our body absorbs it and use it to get energy, for growth, for repair if we get sick. So these are the situation where our body requires energy, and that energy we get from food. So that whole process of getting energy from the food is called nutrition. Especially we're going to discuss nutrition in animals. Remember, even human are a type of animals. So in this chapter, actually, we'll discuss nutrition in animal as well as we'll discuss nutrition in humans. Now, when it comes to animal, they cannot their own food. They cannot make their own food, right? They are heterotroph. They are not autotroph. On the other hand, green plants are autotroph. They make their own food with the help of a process called photosynthesis, right? But on the other hand, animals and human, they cannot make their own food. Therefore, they are in which category? They are in heterotroph category, right? These heterotroph animals, actually they depend on other plants and other animal for their food. This type of nutrition is called heterotrophic nutrition. Now, to get food, there are four mechanisms, there are four methods this heterotrophic nutrition can work. I mean, these heterotrophs, they can get food in any one of these four mechanisms. The first one is, which is most popular or most common, you can say, is Holozoic nutrition. In Holozoic nutrition, actually, the food is taken in the liquid and solid form, and it has been broken down by the body. That's why, and to get energy from that broken down food. So this is Holozoic nutrition. Second type of nutrition is parasitic nutrition. In parasitic nutrition, actually, one organism get food from other organism. In this case, the first one, the parasite, it gets benefited, and the host from where the food is getting absorbed or food is getting taken from are in harm. So now third type of heterotrophic nutrition is called saprotrophic nutrition, where the organism get their food from decaying elements, decaying material, decaying in organic material. And last type is, we'll discuss them one by one. Last type is symbiotic nutrition, where two organisms depend on each other, they help each other to get food. Let's discuss them. So first of all is Holozoic nutrition. In Holozoic nutrition, animal consumes solid or liquid food by mouth, mainly by mouth, obviously. Okay, for the animal who have mouth. For many small insects, they don't have mouth as such, but they also consume solid or liquid food, which is later broken down into digested part, into simple substance. You know what simple substance? Sugar, because our body gets energy from that sugar. And the undigested and harmful substances, they are thrown out of the body. So this kind of nutrition is called Holozoic nutrition. Okay, on the basis of their food habits, Holozoic nutrition can be categorized into three categories: herbivores, herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. Right? You know herbivores very well. Those animals who eat only plants are called herbivores. These are the examples. See, cattle like cows, goat, camels, and deer. These are the animal in category of herbivores. Then when we talk about carnivores, those are the animal who eat only flesh of other animal. They are carnivores. So in this example, you can see the examples of carnivores: tiger, lion, wolf, shark, as far as the aquatic animal is concerned, right? So these are all carnivores animal. Next one is omnivores, which are actually both. The word omni means all. Omni means all. So here omnivores means the animal which eat both plants as well as flesh of other animal. They are called omnivores. So examples are like bear, crow in bird category, pig, rat. They can eat anything, vegetarian as well as non-vegetarian. Even human come in this category. Many humans choose to take both type of food. Now I'll discuss one particular case study, and that is, okay, this is the third type first. Parasitic nutrition is second type, not third type. Parasitic nutrition is second type, where one organism take food from other organism. How they obtain their nutrition? They either live inside of other animal, inside of the body, or outside the body. When they are, and they take nutrition from other animal. That animal is called host. So second organism is called host. Okay, in this case hosts are harmed and parasites are benefited. So there are two category of parasitic nutrition. One type of parasites are endoparasites, which live inside of the body of the host, right? And this example is tapeworm, hookworm. See, look at this photograph. These are tapeworm actually inside of the body, maybe human body, right? So they take food from digested food or undigested food which we eat. On the other hand, ectoparasites are who are outside of the body of the host. So either they attach themselves to the host body, or they come and they sit on the skin and they suck blood. They feed on the blood. Mosquito is very simple example of ectoparasite, because mosquito drink our blood, right? Ticks are another animal which are mostly on animals like dogs and other animals you may have seen. Mites are there like termites, and other type of mice are there. Leech is another type. See, look at this photograph. This photograph for leech. So these are example of parasitic nutrition. Remember, in parasitic nutrition, parasites are benefited, hosts are harmed. Now, third type of nutrition comes in the category called saprotrophic nutrition, where organisms are feed on dead animal, so they survive by eating dead and decaying organic material. So like rotten uh, food, or rotten dead body of other animals, or even plants and trees rotten parts. So example of saprotrophic nutrition are fungi and bacteria, right? Now, fourth type of nutrition is symbiotic nutrition. They here also two organisms are involved, but in this case, both are getting benefited. Both are helping each other in this way or that way. Let us take some example. For example, number A, if you think of bacteria, which is found in intestine of human, they help us for digestion of the food. In turn, they obtain their nutrition from digested food. So there are some bacteria in our intestines. This is small intestine. Look at the photograph, and there are some bacteria which help us to digest the food, and they survive on the food which we have digested. On the other hand, one more example in the plant world, that is called rhizobium bacteria, which is actually, they actually live in the root nodules of a leguminous plant, like plant of peas, right, and plant of beans. So these kind of plants, they actually cannot take oxygen directly from the atmosphere. So what this bacteria does, how this bacteria help these plants, they actually uh, convert the atmospheric nitrogen suitable for the plant. This is called nitrogen fixing. I hope this you must have studied in first chapter, that is called nutrition of plants, right? So these are two examples of symbiotic nutrition. Okay, so now let us go ahead for the next topic. Our next topic is what are the different steps in nutrition, right? So if you observe carefully, there are 5 steps: ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and egestion. So these are 5 steps of nutrition for any animal as well as human. So when we talk about ingestion, it is actually taking in food, like eating, either by eating by mouth or by absorbing the food by any other means. So these are taking of food, comes in category of ingestion. We'll discuss them one by one. Now breaking down the complex food substances into simple soluble food substances, for example sugar, this step is called digestion, right? Now what will happen with that digested food? That digested food is actually absorbed or diffused in our bloodstream. That is called absorption of the food. You know, our body has to absorb that energy, right? So digested food, this process is done, actually done in intestine. Okay, then finally that energy, that particular food, absorbed food, that has to be transported all across our body, right? Because every part of the body need growth, every part of the body need energy, right? So it has been transported, and use of absorbed food is called assimilation. See, and finally, whatever food is undigested, whatever is the uh, remains of there of the food, which cannot be digested, that gets removed by excretion process. So ingestion is that step of removal of undigested food. See at this photograph, this girl, ingestion, that is eating the food. Digestion is happening in stomach, and in the uh, instant time absorption is happening, and actually assimilation is happening all across the body, assimilation step. And finally the unwanted, the undigested food will be removed by the body. That process is called egestion. So discuss them one by one. Ingestion means consuming the food. So most of animal consume food, ingest their food through their mouth. Agree? For example, human and other animal, you eat animals eating, like dog is eating from its mouth, human are eating from their mouth, right? But some other animal, they consume their food by other ways. This is an example of a single cell, very small, microscopic size organism called paramecium. This paramecium has hair-like component. They call it cilia, right? Or cilia. So this hair-like cilia are there. Look at this at every side of this paramecium. they capture the food and pushes the food inside of the cell. So they consume with the help of their hair-like structure called cilia. Now, if you see this type of frog and chameleon type of animal who have very long tail, very long and sticky tongues, not tail, sorry, tongues. So they, catch their prey like some bees or fly. They catch, okay, with the help of their long and sticky tongues, and then they eat it. On the other hand, look at this other third diagram, which is butterfly. Butterfly actually suck nectar from the flowers, right? With the help of this long tube. See, this is a particular tube known as proboscis. So these are different mechanism animal ingest their food. Now, after ingestion of the food, digestion process is happening. What is digestion? The food eaten by animal is broken down into some smaller and simple compounds like sugar so that it can be absorbed by the body. It is mostly done by in the stomach part, right? This part of the body is the stomach. Okay. After that, the food, digested food goes to intestine. In intestine, especially in small intestine, the absorption process is happening. The process of extracting the nutrition from digested food and carrying them in all part of the body is called absorption. And when it comes to assimilation, assimilation is actually the absorption of the nutrition by the every part of the body such that it can be used for what? It can be used for growth, it can be used for repair. If we are, suppose we are hurt, we are sick, then our body requires repair or maintenance our body. And finally, whatever is undigested, whatever is not useful, that food will be taken out of the body. It can be excreted from our body, which is a waste material, right? Now, we will discuss two case studies. One is nutrition in amoeba and one is nutrition in ruminants animal. Okay, so first case study is nutrition in amoeba. What is amoeba? Amoeba is a very small microscopic organism. They are very small. You can't see with your naked eyes. You have to use microscope to see an amoeba. They are unicellular organism, meaning there is just one cell. For example, other animal, including human, they are multicellular organism. So unicellular organisms are amoeba. They are found in fresh water, like lake, river. In those water, amoeba is found. They feed on what they eat. They eat very small organism called protozoa, or you can say different types of some plant based algae. So these are food for amoeba. Actually, how it's a construction, look at the diagram. In amoeba we have parts, like main part of the body is called this nucleus. Okay, and then this is the whole cell of amoeba. So whole cell is actually surrounded by cell membrane, that is like a cover, and inside there is a material called cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is the material which actually fill this cell, now there are some vacuoles. So one type of vacuole is called food vacuole, which actually used to digest the food, and there is one more type of vacuole. That vacuole is called contractile vacuole. Contractile vacuole for excreting the waste material, water and waste material, right? Now what this amoeba have? These amoeba have pseudopods. We also sometimes call it pseudopodia. So pseudopods, it's like a finger-like structure. See, it's like fingering to someone. Actually, these pseudopods can change the shape. For actually the whole amoeba constantly keep changing its shape with the help of these pseudopodias or pseudopods, right? And they keep moving also with the help of these pseudopods. So actually these pseudopods help to capture the food as well as to move. Locomotion means move. Okay, how they capture the food? They capture the food by surrounding the food particle by pseudopods and engulfing it into the body. Engulfing means taking in, you know, like gulping, same way. So food particle then digested by food vacuole. In food vacuole, you have some enzyme. They digest the food, and then that food is assimilated to whole body of the amoeba. Okay, so the process of engulfing the food, okay, and breaking down inside of the cell is also known as phagocytosis, right? And undigested food are excreted through which vacuole? Contractile vacuole. So that we can see with the help of a diagram also. So look at this diagram. This is actually explains the all the process steps involved in the nutrition by amoeba. See, first diagram, this food particle is there, maybe protozoa or any other small microorganism. See, this particular part is known as the pseudopods, which actually trying to engulf this food. See, this is engulfing the food. Next step, it is actually ingestion because it is actually capturing the food. It is actually consuming the food, and then it is getting digested in food vacuole. Okay, using enzymes, and that food is getting absorbed by whole cycloplast of that amoeba and getting assimilated to whole body part of the amoeba, and ultimately whatever is the waste material is getting ingested, I mean getting excreted, you can say. So this is the steps involved in the food habit or food mechanism, eating mechanism of an amoeba, right? Now last one, we are going to discuss nutrition in ruminants. Ruminants, which animals are ruminants? Some animals like cattle, like cows and buffaloes, sheep, goats, giraffe, and deer. They are in ruminant category. Why we call them ruminants? I'll tell you. Actually, mostly they feed on grass and hay. But you know what? This grass and hay actually contain a carbohydrate called cellulose. This is a type of carbohydrate. We have different types of carbohydrates like sucrose, fructose, right? So, but there is a carbohydrate in grass and hay called cellulose. This particular type of cellulose is very difficult to break down for digestion. Actually, other animal can't even digest cellulose. Human also can't digest cellulose. But nature has given a special mechanism to ruminants to digest this cellulose. How? Actually, the whole stomach of ruminants are divided into four stomach. So ruminants have actually four parts or four chambers in their ruminants. What is their name? Rumen, reticulum, okay. Then you have ossum, omosum, and obomasum. So these are the name of those four chambers or four parts of stomach of a ruminant animal. So what this animal do? They actually eat, they chew the food quickly, and they actually, without chewing it properly, without digesting it, they store the food in rumen, and when they get time, okay, they bring it back again to the mouth for chewing purpose. Okay, this process is called regurgitating. Regurgitating means bringing the food back in the mouth. Okay, sorry, let me correct pronunciation. It is regurgitating. So regurgitating food means bringing the food back in the mouth for chewing purpose. Okay, so these are different steps involved. In first step, ruminant chews the plant hurriedly, meaning quickly. It mix it with saliva for the short time and swallowed. Actually, it is not chewed properly. Now in step 2, that food goes to rumen and stored. Later, in rumen, see, little bit digestion start because rumen have some digestive enzyme. So they little bit digestion will start, but it will not digest completely because food was not chewed properly. So what will happen? Rumen will, that partially digested food is called cud, and that will bring back in step 3, that will be brought back to the mouth for chewing purpose. A lot of saliva is mixed and it is getting ground, okay, into a smaller part, and this process can happen many times. Ultimately, next step, that food is passed to omosum where excess water is absorbed, and finally it is passed to abomasum, which is the true stomach of an animal, true stomach of a ruminant animal, where actually digestive and enzymes are there and food is finally digested. This part of this chamber of stomach, abomasum, that actually similar to stomach of other animal like human. Okay, then this food goes to a small intestine where all the nutrition are absorbed. And there is another part of the body called cecum, which is between. There is a pouch between large intestine and small intestine, where a lot of bacteria is there to digest the cellulose. Okay, that pouch is called cecum, and ultimately undigested food is extracted along with other waste material in the form of dung, right? To same thing you can see with the help in this diagram. See, this cow is eating the food without chewing it properly. So this green color line is actually showing it is going and storing in the rumen. Later it has been brought back to, in the reticulum. I forget to tell you this step. The reticulum is actually separate water and food. So actually the solid food particle goes back to mouth for further chewing. It's called cudding process. You can say, you may have seen a lot of cow sitting and cudding and cudding and cudding. So it's called cud. That process, that undigested food is called cud, and the process called cudding. So it comes to mouth and it keeps cudding. After that, it goes to your part called abomasum. Here, see, where it has been all the liquid part, all the water part will be absorbed, and remaining the useful food will go to main stomach, that is called abomasum. In abomasum, the food is getting digested properly. Finally, it's passed to intestine where it is properly absorbed by the body, and remaining part will be out as excreting material. So this is all about the how ruminants uh, uh, you know eat their food and how the digestion process happen. So thank you for this part. Next part we will continue with the same chapter where human nutrition will be discussed. Thank you.